little bit of extra time, why don't we do this? Let's do something a little different. Would somebody like to volunteer? We can dig down a little bit deeper into your biggest challenge and maybe help to see if we can help you find a solution to it. Who would like to volunteer? Yes, Mark Elkins. Okay, so repeat your biggest challenge again.
Keeping messages simple.
Wait, I think you've overcome that. That you just keep the message simple. No, you're. Okay, good. Well, then this is great then. So why do you think that keeping messages simple is your biggest challenge?
I frequently need to repeat things because I say them in a way that people don't understand.
I can relate.
And it's obvious that they don't understand. And I have to explain a second time to reduce it, and a third time perhaps. And when I'm writing, I'm constantly reducing my writing because I know that those messages are complex. And I'm looking for simpler words, simpler language. I speak at the wrong level for the audience frequently. It's problematic.
So how do you know, question like, yeah. How do you know that it's you versus the listeners?
Good question.
I have a message to deliver to that audience, and if they're not getting the message, then I haven't delivered it.
Well, that's true, but if they came up to a higher level of understanding, so your challenge may not be your challenge may not be the delivery of a simpler message. It may be that your audience needs to be better educated to where they're able to consume something higher than what they are right now.
So aside from bringing people to this meeting as often as possible to help them move to a higher level, how do I move the listener to a higher level so they're prepared to get the message?
That is such a great question. Like Ed and Kevin, what they're doing to do that, because they're having the same challenge you are. And so what they're doing is they're having what's called coffee connections. So it's once a week where they get together and they invite other people and they take one of the videos that's 3 to 7 minutes long, and it's a process to educate the people around us, to get them to an understanding level where you can do some pretty complex things, but have it be done in a very short period of time. So it's the coffee connections once a week, you know, so you get together for a half an hour, hour and a half in the morning or whatever, invite a bunch of people that are around you, and then start to have them go through the videos, and little by little they'll start to pick it up.
I would say, because sometimes you don't have the option to meet that person in the morning, why not start off with keeping it simple? If they don't get it, then you can over-explain yourself. Because I think the fear, or trying to over-explain it, is you don't think they're going to get it. And some will and some won't. But if you keep it simple in the beginning, if they don't get it, they'll let you know.
Well, that's the issue I have, is that I think complex, and I have to reduce that message to simple. There's explaining and then explaining and explaining can irritate or turn off a prospect. So,
but I'm sorry, what was your name?
Lonnie.
Lonnie. So, but what did Lonnie say?
she said start with simple message.
And then what did she say?
Then if they don't get it, I can over-explain.
Then you can go to the next level, the next layer. And so what she's saying, I think people get irritated often when they do get it, but you don't think they do.
The other thing you do, take the words kiss, put it right in front of your phone while you're explaining to people. It sounds stupid, but if you're having a hard time keeping it simple,
It's a good reminder.
put kiss right in front of your phone so you're staring at it.
Which is keep it simple, sweetheart.
That's right.
That's right. Right. What you said.
Yeah, I think I have one suggestion. Just like we training the new climbing people, we have a different set of the material. For level 1 intro level is that set of slides, and for the second level is that. So maybe you can build something like a couple slides for the intro level, Once they get this, then go to the second level. Don't try to dump everything once to a new people. You have different sets, so you know where they are. That's what we training the new people in the company.
I like that suggestion. Too much information all at once.
You know, it's
Like-
overwhelmed, and then we don't come next time.
Let's see. Was there somebody?
Yeah.
I think keep the message simple is really important. It's, you said you have to educate people, actually that's hard to do. So you deal with different levels, customers or peoples. You try to keep the simple first. And then if they understand, you can, go deep. If you've been law school or whatever, I cannot understand any word they say or on the contract or whatever. So I can never get education that take me years to get a level to understand. So keep simple. It's really you start simple and make people understand, most people. And then you can go whatever the level they can understand. So, not everybody the same level. So my point is just like keep simple. It's possible to start.
Or you could do what I think Mark does sometimes, is you say something that might be simple, but then once they think that they've got it all figured out based on simple, you maybe put a question out there or something complex. It's like, whoa, because you want them to go to that next place to see that there's a lot more than just that first part.
So again, simple statement or simple message, and then to help them perhaps get to the next level is ask a question. What kind of a question would they ask to help them get to the next level? Like, what do you think? We'll just keep it open. What kind of a question can you help? Did that
So
make?
I think if you go ahead and say, so how will you apply what I've just shared?
Okay.
Because then you know, did they get it or did they not? Mark's actually connects into mine, because my biggest challenge is how to get others committed and consistent. And that may not seem like how to keep it simple, but people want to be at a high level of understanding, like they crave that. But they're not committed and they're not consistent. And so if you can't keep things simple if people aren't committed to doing whatever they're doing, and if they're not consistent with it, like being here every month. We've had, people kind of come and then they don't, and they miss a month or whatever. Well, there's so much that's given in one session. You come back, you miss one session, and it's very hard to communicate because you've lost a whole lot by not being here. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, just what you said. Keep the message simple, deliver the message, and then ask a question. How do you think you'd apply what I just said to you? How would that make a difference in your business?
So how do you get people committed and consistent?
You put a microchip in them and you track them down like a dog.
Love that.
I just, the first thing that came to my mind. I don't know if it's
Let's
legal or
put that
not.
on a list.
I don't know, wait.
Here's
no,
your
no.
book. Give me your wrist.
Yes, Your Honor, this is a simple job, sorry. Mark said that he was.
Let's call a smartphone.
See, I think what people ought to do is I think they ought to buddy up with somebody and then connect throughout the month, in a coffee connection, so it's not just once a month. And then really, like one of the things that Teresa's working on is that she's like a really nice person.
That sounds like we're dribbling down the court and it's just about to be a layup here.
And so she's a really nice person, and often nice people have a hard time getting people to do things.
I think
Because they're
people
nice.
should more from inside. If they desire, instead of you force, then that will be much better.
Well, that's better, but if your kids don't go ahead and clean their room on their own, what do you do?
Sometimes if they drop the clothing on the floor, I will say, oh, one clothes cost you 50 cents.
Right.
Not just pick a 50 cents, $1.
You've talked to my wife.
But next time,
Or
when
maybe
they
she
see them,
talked with, I don't know, that's what she does.
See,
My
what we
kids
ought
are
to,
paid.
see, what we ought to do is.
My kids have 2 t-shirts and a pair of underwear, that's all they've got now. But they don't leave the house anymore, they're broke.
So what we ought to do is we ought to say when somebody comes in and they say, you know what, because they get excited, they get motivated, inspired,
Right.
and they have every intention of coming back every month. What we ought to do is when they're really excited, motivated, inspired, and they say, yeah, I'm gonna come back, say, all right, is that a goal or is that a commitment? Oh, it's a commitment. Okay, if you don't, then they give like $10 or $50 or $100 to Mark and veterans. You know,
There's,
to veterans causes.
right.
Right, I mean, that way,
That'll help pay for the microchip that we put in them so we can track them down like a dog. Get them back here.
We have that covered, we have GPS.
Love that. See?
the military,
Halfway.
absolutely.
If it's just, if they're committed, then they shouldn't mind putting the money up now and getting the money back when they show up.
That's it. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a second here. That might be, what do you think? Everybody's here, I think it's the same, look around, it's the same expression. Everybody's like,
So that means,
go ahead.
so that means you give to him money to keep the sample. That's
Well,
what I get.
yeah, that can work
Like,
too.
well,
But
there's
if I say I'm gonna be here next month,
We both ways.
then what I should do is say, here's $20, and I want that back when I show up next time. But that means you're gonna have to show up too,
What's the 20?
You have to bank that thing.
okay?
There's a trust, there's a trust
Oh,
in
absolutely.
here.
What's that mean?
Well,
I don't know.
you have to trust him.
That's right.
You have to trust people that they'll be good to their word, and they'll come back. They'll do what they say.
Absolutely.
If you don't trust them, then they don't trust you.
It has to be in the group fund, and then if they don't show up, it just automatically gets deposited into the charity. And it's forfeit after they don't show up this first time.
See, because people have, good reasons for not being here, and it's like, but if they have money on the table, they'll think twice about, okay, is that a good enough reason to walk away from $10, $20? I mean, it doesn't matter really about the money, but it's getting people to commit and follow through, because by and large, people think they're committed, but I wonder, do they even understand, what commitment is and consistency is? Do people really get that?
The main thing I think is people want to know if they really get something from such kind of a gathering. I don't think $10 or $20 make too much difference for people.
Right, so you're thinking it should be 100. I agree.
No.
Yes. You're right on. I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely.
But the people need to explore, how much they can get. Because people need to overcome difficulty, like me, I have a meeting, but,
Right, but you're here.
walk out to that
money is
meeting,
the
then come
motivator,
out,
though.
so how much
Right.
we can really get from the meeting. That's-
See, and this is where, when Mark says about keeping it simple, it's, people look at coming to an event and getting something out of it like it's everybody else's responsibility to get something out. People have not been trained to say when you go to an event, it's not the leader, it's not the MC, it's not everybody else's responsibility. You go to an event, people don't know how to get something out of an event that's significant. They just don't. They need to be trained. In our bonus session, we ought to put that down as one of the possible topics. To do.
Dig it.
Do we
All
still
right.
have time for the other challenge?
I just wanted to add.
We do not.
Did you start you grabbed the 20 back?
I just wanted to add to that.
Yeah. Good deal. This good? Yeah.
I think we're so torn, many of us, between so many organizations. I mean, I have 4 groups that I belong to, similar to this. And they're pulling at me when I am trying to take very methodical or very thought out steps to make sure that I am very careful on time allotment, money allotment, and just making sure that I'm very effective, and I am not the most effective I feel I'm not. Especially with some of the physical issues that I'm having, but also just very, very careful because there's so many veterans organizations and veterans that are being taken, and I don't want to ever be a part of that. And I want these organizations that I work with to be very focused, if they want to be, on the passions of my heart. And it's not just me. This is not all about me. It's about the people that are living out in the street, those that have served our country, and that need to get back into a safe haven, safe environment.
So does anybody, like, did anybody want to interrupt that? Like, bam, like immediately? See, Kevin's teaching me how to go ahead and be a comedian. He says you're like a natural on being a comedian because you're willing to say things that other people aren't willing to say all the time.
Right.
And so I mean, so when Mark says, did anybody catch something he said that wasn't true? I mean, he said something that's not true.
Bring it on.
What was that?
And we do need to laugh more.
I absolutely, well, not necessarily. See,
Right,
this is
right.
what Kevin, he says, your sense of humor is, so on the bonus session, there might be, you guys, if you guys stay for the pizza, Kevin's sponsoring, if you guys go ahead and stay for that, I might do my first comedian gig. I might do it. I'm telling you. Like,
Dinner and a show.
It's unbelievable. But did anybody catch what Mark said that wasn't true?
It has something to do with the like if they're all equal, like the groups are all equal.
Okay, so one got it. So why didn't you say that?
Part of me, I wanted to. See, you're helping me understand. You're helping me with that because I'm like, I wanted to jump in and I'm like, but they're not all equal.
Right.
Not at all.
Well, and so we take the 4 and you say, what are really 1, 2, 3, and 4? And if there's only one I had to go to, it would be this one, and everybody else can wait.
Right, because there's no other group that has the intention of taking.
See, I don't know that because this is the first time.
That's okay.
Well,
I'm
that's
just
why
wondering-
I would
I'm
have
just getting to
interrupted
know
you
you.
because it's
Because
like, hey,
we don't wait.
You should have known it coming in. Somebody should go ahead and say, listen, we just want to go ahead and tell you that you're going to invest an hour and a half into this and we're going to give you 4.5 hours back. I mean, that's what this group is about. It's about giving you more time than you put in. That's what this group is about. And I'm like, so like, Ian, if you guys stick around, okay? If you guys stick around, you're going to go ahead and experience something you've never experienced before. I'm going to go ahead and tell you all, okay? Because I'm a comedian, so I can do this. See, it's working.
I don't even know.
How come we need to be for you are a good one?
See, as a business person, I don't have the capability of telling you you're all stupid. Because if I tell you you're all stupid as a business person, you won't want to work with me. So I'm limited in my capacity. Like you can't see the true energy that I have because as a business person, I've learned over the years, if you tell people they're stupid, they won't do business with you. I'm like, so I can't say it, but see, as a comedian, I can call you all stupid and I can get away with it and you'll still do business with me.
And agree and laugh at the
Right.
same time.
Because you'll recognize how stupid you are, but you're gonna laugh about it and say, you know, he's right. I mean, he's absolutely right. I am so stupid, and then you'll learn and grow. So I'm taking Ben's time. I can't do this, but that's what.